All right, and we're rolling.
All right.
How you doing today?
Not too bad, man. What's going on with you?
Not much. It's extremely beautiful outside.
Yep.
It's really nice. I wasn't anticipating 80-degree days here. Like I broke out the shorts for the first time today
Yeah.
so far this year.
Yeah. I was looking at my kid this morning and I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, because I always like to check what the weather is before I dress him. I get his like stuff ready. And I was like looking at it and I was like, oh, it's probably gonna be 60, 80. Oh, okay. Damn.
Yeah, it's almost like you have to wear pants in the morning and long sleeves and then shorts in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The normal Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about yourself. You from the Lansing area? Were you born and raised here?
Yeah. I'm from Delta Township area, so just kind of west of
okay.
Lansing.
Okay, yeah, that's where I work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, GM.
That's cool. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah. Yeah. So I grew up there, went to Grand Ledge, and then moved to Lansing for about 10, 12 years after I graduated. And then my wife and we moved over to East Lansing.
Okay, so not too far away.
No,
Yeah.
we just wanted to go to the other side because we're just like most of our family's on the west side, so we just figured we'd go to the east side, so it's a little bit gives us a little bit of distance because we both work downtown Lansing.
Okay, what do you guys do?
So she does policies and stuff like that for the state.
Okay.
For executive office area, and then I do like IT.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah, that's cool. How do you like East Lansing?
A
little bit
it's so
slower pace.
Yeah, it's fine. Like, I mean, like Delta Township's really boring and it's harder to kind of get around unless you have a car. East Lansing's a little easier because you can walk around more simply because they have sidewalks. It's not very far from each other, but there's a personality difference between like West Lansing, Central Lansing, and then East Lansing. I've noticed like West Lansing's more like they still try to like be like country-ish kind of like, but like they don't have it. But like they keep trying and it's cute because like they're just like, this is our roots, and it's like, yeah, okay. And and then like Lansing, I remember when I moved to Lansing after high school, I remember my friends were like, oh dude, be careful, you're like, it's so dangerous, and I'm just like, okay. So I moved to Lansing and like it was downtown and it was actually safer than Delta Township. And like, because like we were like, you're gonna get shot at. Never got once. You know? And I remember like being in West Lansing and I remember getting shot at. So I'm just like, shit, this sucks, dude. Actually, are we not supposed to swear?
No, you can swear.
Oh, okay, good.
Hey, say whatever you want.
Oh, thank God. Like, I'm that meme from that. I don't remember what that show is because I never watched TV. But I'm like that meme where it's like, listen, Your Honor, I can't talk without swearing, you know, and it's like I can't communicate anything without swearing stuff. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell. But yeah, like Lansing was really nice actually. I thought Lansing was kind of nicer than East Lansing in a lot of ways, just because like Lansing gets really quiet after 5.
Yeah.
Like I was like, we would show my friend, like I have like 4 really close friends, and one of them he lives in Warsaw, Poland at the moment.
Wow.
Yeah, but he's from Aarhus, Denmark.
Okay.
And so like I was showing him, I was like, this is what our city's like, because he was showing me his cities, like when he was at the time in Amsterdam at the moment working on a master's degree. And I was showing him, we were like, me and a couple friends were like playing cards in the middle of the street in Lansing and stuff like that and doing shit like this. And then like drawing body parts, you know, with us on the road and stuff. And he's like, how fast did you have to do it? And I was like, dude, we didn't see a car for like an hour.
Wow.
It was like, this is Lansing in a nutshell after 5,
funny.
man.
That is funny. It is interesting because my wife and I were just talking about this. Like you go to the west side, because I needed to go to Best Buy last night, and all the Best Buys close at 8:00. I'm like, when did a Best Buy close at 8:00?
I know. Yeah.
It's so ridiculous.
It is weird. Like, yeah.
I don't know if it's ridiculous, but you know, it's like I'm used to things being open later.
Yeah, like
and it's
10
interesting
o'clock at the latest. Because I remember when I was a kid, I was like worked at Target and we had to work till 10, and like that was fine. But I guess like I don't know, maybe it's like COVID stuff. I don't know. I don't ever go out really, you know. Like I never go out shopping, like unless like I have to. Like my wife's pretty much the one that goes out shopping for us, just because like I'm demented and can't figure out what the hell I'm doing out there. And then also like I'm not really good at like if someone's being rude, I'm not really good at like not saying something to them. Like like if someone's being a complete jackass, I'll be like, hey man, yeah, that was called douchebaggery. That's what you just did, you know. And like, so I get in arguments with people that are douches.
Does your wife get embarrassed?
No, because she's never there with me when I go.
Oh, okay.
She won't go with me.
She knows you. She's like, yeah, no, that's not happening.
Because I don't give a shit, man. Because like, if you're gonna be like, I don't know. Because like my mentality is very simple. Like today, like I was driving here and there's like this exit over at Grand Traverse Pie and like Grand River and Hagedorn, and there's that like opening for the store, and you'd see like these 4 cars like piled up, like really hoping to get out into the road, and like everyone's just like running in front of them just like so they can get to the light because like everyone's in a fucking hurry in the world. and like so what I do is like, and this guy honked at me behind me, but like I stopped right before the entranceway because like it was like there's not enough room anyway for my car to be there anyway, and it's just me just being it'd be illegal to block an entrance anyway. So either way, I stopped. This guy honks behind me because I must have offended him by letting people in, and like he just is like watching it, and like and the dipshit too, like as like the cars are going out. Because it gets green light and he's panicked that he's going to miss his green light because this is the world to him. He peels around me and almost hits one of the cars and honks at them. And I'm just sitting here like, this is your whole day, buddy. Like this is
just settle down.
Yeah,
it's a Saturday. It's beautiful out. Just enjoy the sunlight.
I fucking know, dude. I was like, all right, this is your shit. So this is kind of me in a nutshell. I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I think I just go around trolling people that are assholes. I'm like, yeah, you should deal with this.
Yeah, that's one thing. Inconsiderate drivers irritate me because, like for instance, my daughter's school, nobody like knows how to let people out of a parking lot, and I'm like, this is how it's supposed to work. As you're pulling out, you let a person go. Then the next person goes and they let somebody else go, and it's so on and so forth. That way traffic keeps flowing. But instead, everybody wants to just keep going and not stop and let other people in. It's like, come on, people.
I think it's like a displaced personality. So like my background's mostly in psychology. So I think of it as like, okay, so if we're in a line together, we're able to work together because we can actually have physical eyesight to each other and actually touch each other. But when a car is there, we have this physical separation between us and the next person. So we feel this...
It's like a disconnect.
Yeah, like this displaced way of our social cultural ways of doing things because of the simple fact that I think most individuals then kind of assume that they can actually be more of their natural rude self.
Yeah. This episode is brought to you by Red Bike Delivery. This delivery service operates only using battery-powered, eco-friendly transportation. Red Bike Delivery is there for all your delivery needs, whether it's dinner for the family, flowers for your partner, or new houseplants for your new collection. Red Bike Delivery will gladly deliver those and everything in between. So what are you waiting for? Check out Red Bike Delivery on Facebook or Instagram for more information. Red Bike Delivery, because there's only one Earth.
Like it's kind of like the saying like the lizard brain, we all have a lizard brain. I think it's like everybody also has this very selfish mentality, and you have to like keep yourself in check. Because don't worry, I do it too, because I'm just like if I had a plate of cheesecake and one piece is better than the other, my fat ass is going to want the bigger one. But what I do is I teach myself to like, whenever I feel a sense that like I want this one, I immediately give that one away to someone and I make contact. I'm like, hey, thank you. And, like, and especially if they say, hey, don't you want the bigger one? I'm like, no, it's yours, bud. Share it with someone else. It's like half a fucking platter. I know. Find a friend, Well, what if you want to be my friend? I got this small one. That's a sliver. I know, but I'm fat. So.
Well, the thing is too, like being in a car, it's already stressful, right? Driving and being in traffic itself is just stressful. So you're at like a heightened state. So whenever something like that happens, you're just 70 to 100 real quick.
Yeah, and like so for me, I like when my wife and I we moved. So she didn't move to Lansing with me at first because when we met in high school, and she was 2 grades below me, and so we've been together now for 20 years. Yeah, I think like 20 years. I think it's going on 20 years.
How old are you?
I'm 36.
Really?
Yeah,
you look like you're 24.
Dude, I know. Everyone's like, it's the fucking hair, and I'm like, I know, dude. It's like, trust me, man. Whenever I go to Pine Knob, it's always like, do you got anything? I'm like, I'm just like, I'm not stupid. I'm like, no. They're just like, you sure? And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure, but thanks, man. Fuck, I really thought you had something. It's like this like cultural disappointment because people are like, God, that guy's clearly some kind of pothead or something. He's got cargo pants and long hair, and he looks sort of fat. So obviously, he's eating Cheetos for his munchies. Grab them, because like I've done it too. Like we went to like Monster Mash over in Tempe, Arizona one time because my wife's a huge Tool fan. So she made us drive all the way across the United States to go to a concert because they weren't showing up in Michigan. This was like,
why'd you drive? You couldn't fly?
Yeah, we didn't have time to get a flying ticket. I think at the time we were poor, and it was cheaper to actually drive. And and her little brother wanted to go to this too because he wanted to go like Lincoln Park and things like that. So I was just like, well, he's never been to the Grand Canyon. And I was like, we've already gone a couple times. So I was like, midget, why don't we just drive so we can show him what it looks like? And needless to say, the United States between fucking Illinois to New Mexico, yeah, it's what you thought. It's fucking boring. I don't give a shit who lives there. You live in a boring fucking place. And because I mean, there's nothing. I mean, it's fucking nothing. And Oklahoma fucking sucks, by the way. Oklahoma's the worst state in the country.
Just shitting all over the United States right here.
Fuck yeah, I can do it. Like, Oklahoma's terrible because of two reasons. One, their speed limit goes from like a normal speed limit like 70, unless you're in Texas, then it's like 85. Which is like incredible too, because you're just like 85, and then all of a sudden it's like 90, and you're just like, fuck, okay.
That's how New Mexico is too.
Yeah, it's wild too.
Yeah,
you're like driving it, and you're just like, this is much faster than I'm used to. You feel a little uncomfortable at first. You're like, I feel a little verklempt in the butt, and so you're just driving. And you're like, okay, this is normal. But then they have like slow deer, like, you know, signs going everywhere, like cows and stuff. I'm like, oh shit. Like, if we fucking kill this thing, dude, it's blasting. And but then you get to like Oklahoma, and it's like you're like 90, and then Oklahoma's like, yeah, fuck you, 65, bitch. And it's like, and like, you don't know it's gonna hit. So like Oklahoma, this is why I don't give a shit who you are. Oklahoma, you suck, because Oklahoma has this thing where it's like across the board, it's like, welcome to Oklahoma, like you need to know. And then it goes from like 90 to 65, but it's like, it like legit, this is how it goes. You're fucking plowing. It's like 65 flash camera gonna get you at 90. You know, it's like, oh, you douche.
It's like crossing the Ohio border.
Oh my God,
yeah.
Ohio. Yeah, I mean, you know,
It's another boring state.
It is a boring state, but I will say this because I just took my son, because we're trying to teach him how to go on road trips. So we just took him to Toledo, Columbus, and Cincinnati to get him used to it. Because actually, Ohio's got some cool shit. Like Michigan's boring as fuck, to be honest, compared to Ohio. Because like Ohio, first of all, can figure out how to fucking spend their road money, which is great. I love that.
Really nice roads.
Yeah,
nice smooth sailing.
Yeah, and just so we understand, fuck you, Michigan. Yeah, I live here. Our fucking roads suck. And like the thing is like, it's the weirdest thing too. Like, people complain about the roads, but like, this just drives me nuts. No one fucking does anything about it. We always complain about it. We're like, you know, we need more gas tax. I'm like, no, we just need to actually convert the money that's actually for the roads. For the roads,
yeah. There's plenty of money. It's just not being allocated towards the roads.
Jesus Christ, I know. It's like, you know, these people grew up one day and were like, I'm going to do dumb ideas. That's what they do. But yeah, in Ohio, it's actually the shit. Because like, for example, there's a couple good things with Ohio. Like if you have a kid, like you do, like tiny ones, Toledo Zoo is really close, way better than, and I've been to like Binder Ball, Detroit, all those things are pretty cool, but the Toledo Zoo is like banging compared to ours. Columbus Zoo, skip it. It's not fun. And it's like a Universal Studios without like any staffing. And like I thought it was like COVID related, no staffing. And I asked them, I was like, why is it like, how long do you think it's gonna take us to like get food from this cafeteria? And they're like, oh, probably about 3 hours. And I'm like, yeah, I was like, what the fuck? And he was like, yeah, there's only like one person really taking orders over there, and they have a kiosk, but no one can figure it out. And there's like only like 2 people back there cooking. And I'm like, is it COVID related? And I'm like, no, this is like normal staffing. And I'm like, this is normal. So I was like, so I literally ended up taking my family, and we left since Columbus early. We went to the Science Museum in Columbus. Columbus Science Museum is the shit. Yeah, and then Cincinnati's really nice too. And there's another good thing about Ohio. Like, Ohio's got some weird fucking left exits. I don't fucking get that. Like, they're just like, yeah, sorry, you got to get all the way over to the fucking fast lane and get onto a fucking exit and go 25 real quick. And it's like, who the fuck designed this stupid shit? But the cool thing about Ohio is like, you're in Detroit and you're like, you put your blinker on and it's like a warning sign to asshole drivers. They're like, oh no, man, he let me know what he's doing. I'm just gonna cut him off.
Yeah.
Ohio's like, yeah, come on. Literally, people were like waving me, and they're like, I understand. I'm gonna break right here and just come on in. I'm like, what the fuck, you bunch of Buddhists? like, this is great.
One thing I like about Columbus is they have that really nice mall there.
Yeah.
And they have like a comedy club there, the Funny Bone. And so my wife and I go there quite often to see comedians, because Michigan doesn't have any good comedy clubs like that.
We don't.
No.
No,
we had the Bob, the comedy club at the Bob for a minute, and then that got shut down.
Yeah. Lansing's not going to have very much in general. And like, but the thing is like, you kind of like get the benefit of Lansing. Like, someone was like, Lansing's fucking boring. And I'm like, you're right, it is. But there's positive signs. It's super fucking quiet. It's super fucking cheap. and like you're only an hour away from busy places.
Yeah.
And then you can leave that chaos after you leave. Because like I've gone to concerts, MSU's got some cool shit every now and then. Like my friend who works on the Blue Man Group was there recently with the Blue Man Group. This was years ago actually, and so like they'll have like some shit in Lansing, East Lansing, but it's not great. But
a lot of the stuff that goes on in like Lansing and East Lansing is more like community based things, like art fairs and art galleries, and which is cool, you know. But not everybody's into that kind of thing. Some people want to go to a concert and rock the fuck out.
Yeah.
And you can't really do that here in Lansing.
No, and that's why like next month I'm going to downtown I've never been to the Majestic, but I'm going downtown to the Majestic next month. I'm human. And and the nice thing is like we go down to the Majestic and then you go on like we're gonna go to a Tigers game right afterwards for my kid the next day because he's 5. And it's adorable, and that he's going to see the mascot. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a huge MLB fan, so I'll just go anyway. But like we're only gonna be down there for a little bit, and then we just get to leave, and then like leave. Like I don't care if you're from Detroit, I'm shitting on everybody today. So just so you understand, like
it's because that guy cut you off or was honking at you, isn't it? Now you're in a mood.
No, actually, I'm in an actually really good mood. That guy, you know what? I don't personalize other people's shit. Like he was like, I mean, wailing on it. And I'm just like, and I'm just sitting here like, buddy. Like you can honk all you want. You ain't getting through this fucking car that's in front of you.
I like to wave.
You know what? My friends are like, why don't you flick them off? And
No.
I'm just like,
I like to embrace their energy.
yeah. I just go, man, think about how much I can learn from stress if I allow this experience to flow through me and out and go away. I was like, think about what that can do later in life, man. Because like, yeah, like, and it helps a lot. Like I remember like, it was like a couple years ago, you can kind of see the scar here. It's like still here, but it went from here all the way across here to here. Wow. It was like, let's see, my son's 5, is going on 6. So it was about 5.5 years ago. My wife was pregnant and I was doing some dishes at night and a plate fell and I didn't want her to wake up. So I went to go grab it as it fell and the plate broke and it cut me right across and you could see the bones and everything in there.
My God.
Yeah. My wife comes downstairs and she's like, what was that? She doesn't swear. She's like, what was that? What's that noise? Like she's a tiny little petite person, like super quiet. And I'm like, oh, just shit, like, I mean, we're just like complete 180s of each other. And, I'm like, oh, just a fucking plate, man. It fell, and she's like, oh, are you okay? And I go, I'll be fine. And she's like, and we're like, I'm just like, I'm not going to clean this cut. And she goes, oh my God. Oh, does that hurt? And I'm like, you know what? Doesn't feel great. and then as I'm cleaning it, there's this one piece of plate that was stuck in the hand. I pulled it out and just blood started going everywhere. I was like, well, I probably shouldn't have done that one. And she's like, we need to go to the urgent care right now. And I go, we probably do. But think about it this way. What if I wrap it with cloth? She's like, no, we're getting in the car. And I'm like, all right, let's go. So, and she's like, I want to drive. And I go, no, honey, you're pregnant. And this is stressful. We don't need to be stressful. It's all good. So I'm like driving myself to the urgent care. I get to the urgent care and they're like, is this for your wife? And I go, no, it's for my hand. And they're like, is everything okay? And I take off the cloth and they're like, oh my God, put the cloth back on. Put the cloth. I was like, do you have anything? I was like, this cloth is getting wet. And so this is kind of me in a nutshell, like when an emergency happens. I'm like,
well, this just happened.
Yeah. Oh, that sucks. And the guy's like, we're going to do numbing agents. And I go, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I'm calm as fuck, but yeah, do numbing agents, man. You got to get in some meat in there. That's going to be gross. And the guy's like, I think I might have to send you to the ER. And I was like, come on, bud. It's like 11 o'clock at night. Let's just do this. So he's like, oh, okay. He just starts clicking away, doing his thing. And it like didn't feel great. And then like a couple months later, I had to get it out. And the urgent care was like, I don't know what the fuck they were doing, but they were taking forever to get this thing out. And I was like, all right, I got to go. I was like, I want to go back to work. And so I went home and I ended up just cutting them out myself.
Wow.
And I later talked to my regular doctor and she's like, so how did it heal? And I was like, it looks fine. I was like, I cut them out just myself. And my doctor's going, what the hell? And I was like, hey, look, hand still works. We are in good shape. So yeah, I remember my wife once told me, because she doesn't swear very much, but when she does, the earth cracks open.
Yeah, it's serious.
Yeah, and I remember one time she's like, you're such a pain in the ass for like everybody in the world. And I go, yeah, no, I know. That's why I'm lucky I got you. I told my friends, I was like, yeah, my wife took me on as a charity experience, and they were like, oh my God, she must get one hell of a tax exemption.
That's one thing you talk about, how you pull the stitches out yourself. Like that's built different, right?
Yeah.
People aren't built that way today.
No.
People like when a kid gets injured, they're like, oh, like we gotta do everything possible.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and oh my God.
Because you're part of the generation where like, oh, you fell, you're not bleeding, get up, wipe it off, go play.
Well, we were in Grand Ledge one time, and like, 'cause I'm looking at your posters over here, your maps and shit.
Yeah.
And like, we were in Grand Ledge one time, and I was like he was like 3 at the time. My wife's sitting at the table, and we're at not Tasty Twist, we're at like Corner Cone. And he's like sitting on the little counter thing. He's doing his 3-year-old thing. He farts around, and he falls and slips and gets underneath the table and everything. Gets stuck down there. And this like he's like, and it's like freaking out. I'm like, you're fine, buddy. You're fine. This lady behind me is like, oh, clearly you're not an engaged parent. And I go,
Wow.
I just looked at her and I go, clearly it's none of your goddamn business. I'm getting him fucking ice cream. Give me 2 seconds. He'll be back to smiling. I get him ice cream. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, see? Glad we had this discussion. And my wife's just like, did you get in a fight with someone? I was like, well, she was being an asshole. But yeah, like, I think I don't know. Yeah, I think it's just people, man. I don't know. My one friend from England once told me, she's like, I appreciate how honest you are with people. But she's like, aren't you afraid? I'm like, for what? And she's like, well, you're in the United States. Everybody's got a gun. And I'm like, we're all going to die one day. She's like, okay.
Oh, that's funny. That is so funny. It's good to have that quality though, because there's so many assholes out there who just think that they can tell you how to parent and tell you what to do. And that because you're in public that you got to like kind of bend to their will in a sense.
Yeah. Once you have a kid, for anyone that wants a kid, just understand you've turned into a billboard to say, please give me your advice for everything that could go wrong.
Yeah.
Or anything I'm doing wrong in your opinion. And then realistically take that, smile, unless you want to be a dick. You can be a dick. I don't care. A lot of times what I do is I just go, okay. Oh, really? Really? Oh, is that what he's supposed to do? Like I've had, like, my son's got long hair like I do. And I've had someone say like, do you think that'll confuse him as he gets older? And I go, hair? And they're like, yeah. And I go, no. And just kind of like walked away. My wife's like, wow, that was pretty calm. And I was like, yeah, I know. You can tell when I'm pissed because I don't swear. Yeah.
But that's a good response because it leaves them to like, huh, why did he answer me like that? Did I piss him off?
Yeah, I know. It's like if hair does that, it'd be like, well, okay, what is it? Oh, I got long hair. Fuck me, man. I donated. So I've been donating my hair forever with my wife because we just have really long hair.
So how long does it take to grow like that?
It depends on like what I'm eating, but like I've done it like when I was younger. I stopped donating like last time, which was when my son was born. So it's been growing for he's 5, but I started growing it when he was about 4 again, so we could grow it out together. And so he's got really long hair too. He's like, a little 5-year-old with like super long hair. I told him, I was like, you can cut it whenever you want, but he doesn't want to cut it. I'm like, legit, dude. And so yeah, I used to grow it for about 2 years and then cut it. I'd cut it like way short, like yours and stuff like that. And then I'd let it grow again. But that's an awful experience, by the way. It's the worst because then when you get to like the douchey kind of like stuff in your face, and you're like, summer's just around the corner.
Yep.
Yeah, and then you can't pull it back and it blows. But yeah, so it takes about 2 to 3 years to grow and donate. So I did it a few times. People really tend to like my hair because it's like naturally curly and wavy. Okay. So they really like that a lot. So I just kind of did it because like my wife was doing it, and then one of my friends back in high school, his sister got like leukemia, so she had to lose her hair. So I was just like, oh shit. I was like, and he was like, yeah, it'd help if people like donated blood, donated like bone marrow and hair. And I was like, well, I can give you blood. Bone marrow sounds like shit, and I don't know if I'd have the right one, but I was like, I am down for giving you my hair, and he was like, all right. I was like, 2 out of 3 is better than none, man.
Absolutely.
I was like, I'm not gonna do a hip fucking pull out. Oh my god, that sounds awful. I was like, I'm fine with pain, but
that's hilarious. So last night you said that you were editing an interview that you did.
Yeah.
What kind of interviews do you do? Do you do a podcast?
So I do a couple different things for like the artist groups. So like one of the things I do. So there's like 3. There's the artist roundtable where I interview a bunch of artists and we just kind of hash out and talk and shit. And then there's the open mic one for poets, which is gonna be tonight, called "Is This Thing On?" Because like I was thinking about how there's a lot of poets and stuff like that out there that want to actually read their shit, but they don't have anywhere to go, and that's not fair to them. So I created that, and then the other one that I do a lot is called Dreaming While Awake. It's essentially me interviewing artists, like actually kind of like what you do, but I actually have like this whole setup of like where I actually interview them based on what they do, kind of share some of their materials, and then also kind of structurally go out on their philosophical perspective of art. I have a very different perspective on art. I don't think art's very linear. I think it's very expansive. It could be anything. I think, God, what the fuck's her name? I'm terrible with names, but she's the lady that played Bellatrix. I at least got that one down. Helena Bolin or something like that. And she explained that like in a quote that art is pretty much in anything you can do it. Eating, sleeping, whatever. Art isn't everything. It's just life. So I look at art very much from that perspective. It's very expansive. So recently I don't know how I got Jenny Radcliffe to just agree to this. So like my background's in IT and my favorite area is security. And I love fucking security so much. And one of the people that I know is Jenny Radcliffe, and she's called the Human Hacker, and just fantastic. She's out of Liverpool, and so she does. Are you familiar with social engineering?
No.
Okay, so social
Well,
engineering.
a little bit, yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so it's like you can use it maliciously or good ways, like
Right.
a gun, do what you want to do with it.
Right.
And so she does it to teach people and stuff like that. And she's really, really good at it. She's been doing it forever.
They do that for like elections and stuff like that too, right?
Yep. So you'll do it for like J Street does it really hilariously. He's a guy out of like Texas. Like he'll just kind of like, just walk into places. I mean, fuck, one time he was in Beirut, Lebanon, and fucking like started social engineering and pen test hacking the wrong bank. Because he's just like, because he didn't read the language. He doesn't know what the fuck's going on. But Jenny, she's been kind of a professional like burglar and all these other things forever. And she's got a fucking amazing story. Like, so I didn't go into her background story in my interview for Dreaming While Awake, because I figured I was like, everybody's already done that. I was like, I'd rather know you and your art form, that's how I try to focus on her. I focus on her social engineering and how she does it and what it does. But she's got a wild story, so I'll be posting that soon. So yeah, I was editing that, and yeah, like I said, I don't know how I got this like president of a company, very well-known international hacker. I do things like this. Like my friends will be like, "How the fuck do you get these people to do these things?" I was like, I just kind of ask them if they're interested.
Yeah,
they're just like, "Oh, sure." If you want to interview me for art, this doesn't make any sense to me, but sure, let's fucking do this.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, would it be considered a podcast, or do you consider it a podcast? Or them podcast, because you have a few different ones.
Yeah, like I don't know, because I use them on StreamYard. So,
okay, yeah, that'd be like a podcast platform.
Yeah, like I can take them down to make them audio.
Okay.
I don't have to debate it on just throwing it up there and just throwing up the. Oh fuck no, because I have to edit the audio. Fuck, that'd be a lot of work.
Why do you edit it?
So like for example, the video I edit a lot. So I use DaVinci Resolve, and I edit it so that it kind of makes it so that if people have something that maybe they want something out.
Oh, okay. If they say like something that they don't want.
Yeah. Yeah. No one's ever had a problem with that. But then also it just kind of like, let's say you're in the middle of a conversation and someone has a long pause, a little bit too much. It helps them look better if I can kind of just, there'll be cutscenes where they'll be like, and then, and I'll be like, fuck, that sucks. So I try to do as best I can with getting them as close as possible.
Yeah.
But it allows the kind of communication to kind of keep flowing better so that the audience has a more engaged experience with the people. And it's also to highlight the person I'm interviewing to make it so that they come out as professional as possible.
Gotcha.
Because I kind of look at it like, like realistically, it doesn't matter how much gold you make in life or money or whatever, what the fuck. The only thing that's really valuable in life is your time, because you'll never get it back, and everyone's going to die. It doesn't matter who the fuck you are. Unless somehow you figure out how to crack the system. But I think we've already learned, like based in philosophical understandings in fiction and shit like that, where everyone's like living forever is not it's not worth it, dude.
Definitely not worth it. I'm ready for this shit to end.
Yeah.
At some point. Not today, but
no, not
eventually.
Today, no, it'll come, and when it comes, it's like I guess that happened. All right, cool. Whatever. But yeah, so like that's why I kind of look at it like when I interview these people, I'm like, well, this is really important to it's really important to me that they gave me their time, because I can't get this back. So I don't want to fuck with it.
Right.
So I edit it to make it so as professional as possible for them.
Yeah. I get that. For me, I don't edit anything unless somebody like says something on the podcast and they're like, "Can you please take that out?"
Yeah.
And I'll remove that, but I don't like doing it.
Yeah.
Because I want it to be as authentic as possible, you
Yeah.
know. And people like, especially if you're watching it, like you had mentioned, you know, like if you edit something out and then you're like here, and then the next minute you're over here, like what just happened?
I know. Yeah, my wife asked me, she's like, "How honest are you gonna be on David Jones?" I was like, "I'll be fucking as honest as possible, people."
I love it.
I don't personally care. It's like she's like, "Do you think you'll talk about like the younger years?" Like people, this is why everyone's like, "Wow, you've been with your wife for like 20 years." Like, is it weird because you know, like one person asked me, because you haven't been with many other people? And I was like, oh, that's what you think. I was like, look, I met my wife at 17 because I was calming down. I was like, it wasn't like, love at first sight. I've never met anyone else. This is the magical Disney experience.
Let's talk about that for a minute. So she's obviously worried about you talking about your past.
Yeah.
So what is it that she's worried about? What was life like for you as, I guess, a teenager coming up?
So Midget and I are like, well, her name's Veronica, but I call her Midget because she's short and I love it. And like we were like, that sounds rude. And I'm like, well, no one's fucking asking you. And
she get offended if somebody else calls her that?
Yeah. Yeah, and what we do too
one of
is
those
like,
nicknames that somebody else can't call her that. It's
she won't like it. It's
like you don't know me.
Yeah, it's like don't call me honey, kind of shit like that. But like, so like for people that are just like obvious, like I don't like it that you call it midget, and it's like all right. So I just call her in Spanish. I'm like, what up, banana? You know, and then we just kind of roll with that, you know. And but yeah, so like when we were younger, like we're complete 180s. Like she's like super like I don't know if you ever taken the Myers-Briggs test ever before.
No.
So she's very like if anyone wants to take it, she's an ISTJ, I'm an INFP. We're both like hardcore in those sections too. So like she's very straight edge analytical, very aware, very like this is the way things are and the way the physical environment is. And I'm like fucking like, I mean like today I'm wearing flying pig socks, you know, and shit like that. Oh, these are the shit. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, those are the best, man. And like, so I'm an INFP and I'm just like flighty as fuck. I don't give a shit. And, and like, so I'm very emotional based. And she's not. She's like complete opposite of that. So when we were growing up, I was really kind of the first person she's been with. But for me, fuck me, man. I started fucking partying at 10. You know?
Wow.
Yeah, it's like, we'd be like, want to go to CMU? Fuck yes, I do. You know?
What kind of people were you hanging out with?
My sister's friends. Who, she's like 4 years older than me, so she had friends that were older than her, and they were like, should we bring your little brother? And she's like, do you want to? And they're just like, yeah, get in the car. I was like, yeah, let's do this, buddy. Or like we'd go to like MSU area, you know, and party there, and we weren't supposed to, of course, obviously. Like you weren't supposed to go into the houses. I don't know if it was fraternity or sorority. I was a kid. I don't fucking know what the fuck there was. There was a bunch of chicks and men everywhere. And so I just go into anyone's houses. And they had like really cool places and stuff. And they'd be like, and every now and then they'd be like,
are you 10?
How the fuck old are you? And I'd be like, 14. And they were like, go back to your house. It's in Delta Township. I ain't fucking walking there. They're like, well, then fucking get out of the house. So I'd be out the house, like drinking a beer, like, because this is great. I'm drinking a beer. And so like the things like I think what Midget talks about is like there's been a few times like, yeah, the Grand River's cold, especially in the fall, you know, when you have to swim it. And like a funny story though, like one time, like I was in Grand Ledge and I was taking care of a friend who had the flu. And I remember it was just like a nighttime thing. And I'm just like walking around and stuff like that. Cause he's passed out at this point. I'm like, I finally got him to relax and he's all hydrated and fluid up. And like, so I go for a walk and it's kind of late. And then as I'm walking near the island, these two friends I knew, I'm not gonna say their name because one's dead and one's still alive, but he actually has a professional job out in Israel. Actually, it's really cool. And they're running and they're just like, fucking go. And I'm thinking like, fuck, okay. So I start running and I see right behind him is a Grand Ledge cop car with lights. I'm like, fuck, that's why they're running. So I was like, I'm gonna stop because they're not gonna come after me. And then I thought, they already saw me running. There's a chance I could get arrested and just like held. Not really been anything bad, but just, you know, held. So what I did was I ran to the island because I'm thinking my friends wouldn't follow me here because it was shadowy. That was like the way to go. So I thought, all right, run down to the island. I get down to the end of the island. I turn around and there's like my two friends there. And I'm like, why the fuck did you guys follow me? And they were like, we didn't know where the fuck you're going. I was like, to the dead end. I was like, if anything, I was going to go with the idea that I was watching the nighttime and oops, it's past dark. I shouldn't be trespassing. The fuck am I going to do now? And I was like, what do you guys got on you? And they show me like these drugs. And I go, oh my fucking God, you fucking idiots. So I'm like, well, no, I ain't doing this. I fucking jumped in the water, swam across. It was like October. It was cold as fuck. And I swam across, got to the other side, got up to that woodland area over there. And I just kind of hid in there for a little while the cops were like driving around because they must have thought it was a third person. I don't know. They just were looking. So by the time they finished or whatever, I go back to my friend's house and dry my clothes off because like he's passed out and get his dryer and stuff. And that was a terrible experience. But the reason why for that story is like later I go to work, like when one of the areas I work for in the state, this guy is about to retire and I'm talking to him and I tell him about the story and he's like, the White House? And I was like, yeah. I was like, that's the house I came up. I went on the dock. And he was like, that's my house. And I was like, no shit, Dave. He's like, yeah. And I was like, dude, I totally used your dock to get away from the cops. And he's like, I feel privileged. And I was like, thank you for building a good dock, Dave. It worked really good. I was like, because I looked at the wall going, fuck this sucks.
Oh, that's hilarious. So when did you turn your, I mean, because that's pretty crazy. I mean, I would imagine that.
Oh, that's only one time I've ran away from the cops. I've done it like too many on the hands.
I would imagine that starting that kind of lifestyle at a young age and then, coming up, like, did you go to college?
Yeah.
So you lived, I'm sure you lived that kind of lifestyle in college too,
No,
right?
I burned out, man.
No?
By the time I got to 17, I was like, man, fuck, we got to chill, man.
So what made you decide that?
Oh, you can only run from the cops so many times before it starts losing the fun. And then also just like, you start looking around going, God damn it, you guys are getting so drunk all the time. This is boring. Oh, and then plus when you find a dead body, that's one of your friends. You're just like,
oh, wow.
Oh.
I love how you just nonchalantly said that.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, God damn.
What happened to the person that died?
He overdosed on heroin.
Wow.
Yeah.
You guys were all partying together?
Yeah, I didn't do the heroin though. No, I'm smart enough not to do some shit. But yeah, he overdosed, and that was kind of like, oh, well, that happens. And then there was a couple other friends that they were kind of getting up to like really high shit. I remember one time I was in high school and like I was in the middle of like computer class. I remember my friend, the one of them that ran that night, he's like, hey man, I'm not feeling so good. And I'm like, what up, Jesus, fucking shit. What did you take? I mean, he's like silhouette, like white as a ghost, sweating. And I'm like, I swear to God, like he was so white, like you could see through his skin into his bones. And I'm like, what the fuck did you take? And he's like, I took some meth and morphine. I was like, together? And he's like, yeah, I just wanted to see what the experience was like. And I was like, I think we found out. I'm like, he's like, I want to go to the hospital. And I go, okay, well, what do you want me to do? And he's like, can you get me over to, I'm not going to say the other name, but someone that lived near the school in Grand Ledge, to his house. And I go, if you die, I'm an accomplishment to your death. I'm like, yeah, I'll skip the next few hours of school. I ain't doing shit anyway. Let's go. And so I was just like, I'm not going to leave you because then he's going to die. And he didn't end up dying, but he ended up vomiting a lot. It was gross. And he was like, and then later, I swear to God, a couple days later, he was like, that was the best experience ever. And I'm like, you're so fucking stupid. No wonder why he later, like, well, when I was like 25, I found out they're like, yeah, JJ OD'd. And I was like, surprise. Yeah. What'd you guys thought was going to happen? He was going to come out with like a fucking dental degree. I mean, come on. Like, yeah, no, I hung out with all the, I mean, they weren't shitty. They did a lot of like non-conventional social things that you weren't supposed to do. But like, I was the more tame one of them. They were always like, yeah, Nick's the guy that we go to. They called me Nurse and Grandpa because I would just take care of everybody. I'd be like, all right, well, where's Sky? You know, I'm like, and they're just like, oh, he went in the pool. And I was like, they were like, I was like, they don't have a pool. And they're like, yeah, the hot tub. And I was like, well, that's different than a pool. Wait, didn't he drink a lot? Yeah, dude, drinking and hot tubs don't mix. Oh, not my problem. And they like walked away and I come over and he's just like,
passing out.
Yeah, and he falls into the fucking hot tub.
Oh,
and I'm like,
gosh.
fuck me. So I'm trying to like pull him out, and this guy's like 280 pounds. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. It's like, God damn it. Thank God I worked on a farm when I was a kid. And I'm trying to like pull him out. I'm trying to wave people. I'm like, come on over. And they're like, I'm too drunk to do that. And I'm like, I don't fucking need you. I just need you to grab a pinky. I don't give a shit. No, it helps me to like get him out and like I get him on a bed and stuff like that and have to like just watch him. So he doesn't do like a Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin kind of thing. I'm like, fuck. Yeah. So
Have you ever thought about doing comedy at all?
A couple of my friends said so, yeah. They were like, you should really do comedy because you have the most fucked up stories.
You really do. Yeah. And you tell them in a funny way.
Yeah, that's what someone else said. They were like, you have like a non-give a shit way of explaining things. And I'm like, yeah, no. Yeah, I probably should do it one day.
You should do it. Yeah,
there's a couple stories where I'm just like, I always wonder, like I share them like internally, but I'm like, should I tell everybody these questions? Like one of my friends, Brian, he's huge into comedy. He's a co-director with me over at a nonprofit for the state of Michigan called MISAC, which is like a Michigan cybersecurity group. And he was the director first for the Lansing area, and then I just kind of elbowed my way in. I was like, "Do you mind if I help you here?" And he was like, "Hell, shit, yeah, take off some administrative shit. Here you go, buddy." And but yeah, he's really into comedy, and he's told me, he's like, because I've told him some stories. He's like, "Fuck me, I was like, how did you clear out a bathroom in Walt Disney World?" And I was like, "It was a horrible experience, buddy." And, yeah, whole fucking place, man. Woo, that was good. And gotta be an adult sometimes, man. And
how'd you clear out a bathroom?
I don't know. Something went wrong. I had like some kind of food poisoning from Walt Disney World. I went there for my honeymoon for my wife because she's a huge Disney fan, and she's never been to Disney World. And I was poor as shit when I was a kid, but I was like, somehow my grandparents got us to go like twice or a few times. And so I was like, I'll take you, honey. So I take her there, and like I've got a weird like stomach where it's like it can't handle. Well, it's not weird. Like, don't get me wrong, I gotta correct this because one of my friends was like, "Dude, it's not weird. Like, I can't handle pop. I can't handle like chemical-ish foods or like Doritos and shit. Like, it's just my stomach's like, no, this is fucking awful."
So you don't like tacos? I'm sure.
I'll eat tacos, but like not from like Taco Bell.
Oh, or like, those aren't tacos.
Yeah, those aren't real tacos. I mean, fuck, my wife's family's Mexican. I know what fucking real tacos are. No shit, dude. And no, like if my wife makes food, I'm good. If I have to eat food out, I'm fucked up. Like it's just my stomach's like, ow, why did you do this? Like, we can't digest this shit. This is gonna take hours. And I'm like, I know. It just looked fucking good for a second there. And so so I was at Walt Disney World and like ate something wrong. I cleared out. I had to go to I had to use a facility, so I went and used it, and it just fucking cleared it out because it was awful. And I'm like, courtesy flushing everything. But the worst part of it all was this kid comes in there, and this dad's like, "All right, son," because he's like tiny little person. He's like, "All right, son, let's get your." Oh, damn! no. Are you sure you can't hold it? And the kid's just like, "I can't." And he's like, "Oh, fuck." Make it fast. Let's use the urinal so you don't have to use the stall next to me. And the kid's like, "I don't want to." And so he brings him over there and puts him on the stall. And the dad's just like, it's like, "Let's just go." And the kid's just like, "Why is it so bad in here?" It's like, "I don't know, son." He's like, and then he noticed my feet. And he's like, "Don't be rude, don't be rude, don't be rude." and then it ends up happening where this kid is like, I see these like tiny little fingers like looking under, like trying to grab underneath and like look underneath the stall. And the dad's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he's like, "I don't know. I just want to tell him it was awful." And he's like, "Well, he probably already knows it, so he's probably embarrassed as hell." And I go, "No, I'm fine, man. I'm actually enjoying the experience that you guys are here." I was like, you're the fifth client that came in to reject the service." And the guy's just like, "I'm glad you're enjoying it." I go, "Loving it."
Oh my gosh. That is so fucking funny.
Yeah, because it's just like, because I look at life very simply. Like I said, like, you're all going to die.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Don't tell embarrassing stories."
No, you definitely should tell embarrassing stories.
You should.
It humanizes everybody.
Fuck me, right? Because everyone always is like, dude, like everyone's walking around acting like they're all trying to act like they're so perfect, even though they know they're not. And it's not like perfect, like stuck up.
Yeah.
It's just perfect in the sense of like, don't show my vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
Because if I do, you can use it against me. And it's like, motherfuckers, people are going to use it against you anyway. Have you ever heard about people throwing you under the bus? They're always going to do it.
Yeah. And if you can't make fun of yourself and somebody else does, you're not going to be able to handle it.
No. Yeah. Own it first, man. That's why when the guy was like, "Oh God." And I was like, "No, you're great, man. You're the fifth client today." I was like, if you had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, are we at 11? The guy's just like
12.
Yeah. The guy's just like, let's go. And the son's like, "I need to wash my hands." He's like, "Fuck no, you don't." I was like, "Wash your hands." I walk out. My wife's like, what happened in there? And I was like, "Best experience on this vacation thus far." And I go to walk out. I'm like, Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. That is hilarious.
Yeah. I like to fuck around in life. It's fun.
Yeah, that is so funny. Do you talk about this stuff on your interviews or any of that?
No, usually how I structure the interviews is I look at it from the perspective like this individual is gifting me their time. So I'm very focused on them only, specifically their art, their focus, what they want to do, and then highlighting them.
Do you think of questions beforehand, or do you just kind of ask whatever?
Yeah, I'll send you over a template that I use. Essentially, I have a template that I use, and then to just give me a base, like give me a foundation, and then I don't use the same house essentially. And then based on the person, I start changing around the template for the questions based on their needs. Like I've had a couple authors on there, where I make sure to like bring up like recently what they've published, what groups they've published, what things they've worked with, what their experiences were, advice on things like that. And then like what with Jenny, since she's a social engineer, I wanted to kind of focus on the art of social engineering. But what I didn't want to do, everyone always talks about like her experiences or what's gone wrong with social engineering. So I wanted to just completely just go away from that and completely flip the chart and do my own way of doing it. But yeah, I focus specifically on the people of the person that I'm doing it. Cause I really look at like, this is an opportunity for him or her to highlight their work, highlight what they've done and get to know it. Yeah, it's funny too, because like this month I was supposed to have 4 interviews, 3 canceled. One was unable to do it because he had an emergency work issue. Another one had a social anxiety issue.
Oh,
and yeah, I'm like, dude, no problem. I was like,
that's the thing with artists. They're antisocial and they have issues like that.
They can be. They can be. Many of them are pretty cool. This guy just has a really bad imposter syndrome thing. And he's like, I'm really sorry. And I'm like, dude, you're shit. No problem, man. Dude, no big deal. I was like, you'll be back. If you're back, you're back. If you're not, nobody else. I was like, just understand the door's open. We'll make room. And then the third one, she wasn't able to do it. I think it's just our schedules. We were on it, but then we conflicted and just fell apart. So yes, I had a bunch of people like contact me like, are you still doing this stuff? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, okay. Cause it just went quiet for a while. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm still alive. Don't worry about it. and they're just like, oh, I didn't know if you were getting burned out. And I was like, no. I was like, I had 3 people cancel. I was like, shit happens.
Do you do it like once a week or how do you do it?
Yeah, I've done it where one weekend I did 5 people in a weekend.
That's rough, isn't it?
Oh my fucking God. That was tough. I learned a lot from that one.
Yeah.
Because I literally went from like one interview to like 2 hours later did another interview. And like I was changing my clothes even like to
really?
To make it look different. I was like, fuck me, dude.
I did 2 yesterday and I wore the same thing.
No, it's legit. Like, that's the thing. Like, so I noticed like your background and stuff is all like, it's good and stuff like that. Like if you ever watch mine's like in my fucking, this guest room I use, I call the Herb. And, yeah, it's like, people are like, why do you call it the Herb? And I was like,
plants?
Nope. No, I just love it. I just like this room's fucking called the Herb. And yeah, there's a little bed in there too. Like I use it like if I'm working too late at night and I don't want to disrupt my wife when she's sleeping in the bedroom, come in there, knock boots. And I have another bed in there where I sleep in there, and I call that bed the Milky Way. And everyone's like, oh, is it because like you're drifting off to sleep in the Milky Way? And I'm like, oh fuck no, dude, it's just a really funny name. And they're like, do you like the candy bar Milky Way? And I was like, no, my stomach can't handle sugar. They're like, so why did you choose Milky Way? And I was like, I don't know. They're like, it's super confusing. And I was like, well, I guess what I wanted to go for worked.
That is so funny. Now with your interviews, how many have you done so far?
I don't know. I started it back in March, I think. So I think I've done like 12.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I don't know. And it's like, and how many I get done will just kind of be like whenever it does. Usually it's me pinging people. I have a friend who's out of Queens in New York, and he's gonna connect me with a couple different like poets and stuff like that pretty soon. So I'm like, all right, that's legit. Usually it's like, yeah, me and pinging people. Like that's how I got hold of Jenny. I was like, do you want to do this? And she was like, yeah, let's do this shit. And I'm like, okay. And I'm going to try to find some more hackers and stuff like that and be like, hey, cool. You guys want to do this stuff? Like, cause you think about it, like, if you hack, like you have to do it. And like I said, like for Jenny's, it's all about body language and social engineering. So like, let's say someone's like, cause I've had people say like hackers that do code isn't really art. And I go, of course it is. Cause they have to, and you have to imagine it, see where it's going to go. Think of the next step that these people are going to do. Why they design it that way. all kinds of interactive like thought process has to go into it and emotional and connections.
Yeah. It sounds very, very involved.
Oh, I love it.
I'm under the assumption as well, like you, everything can be art. I
Yeah.
mean, it's simply like designing a home can be art.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not real simple, but designing anything can be art.
Yeah, I played The Sims. I can't fucking design homes worth shit. I quit Sims within like 10 minutes.
Is that even a real thing anymore? I think it's
Yeah.
Minecraft, right?
There's Minecraft. Yeah, people play that shit a lot too. My 5-year-old, he's gonna be 6. He's like looking at Minecraft, and I'm like, fuck. All right, no.
Sims is like the OG stuff right there.
I know, dude. Right? I know. I was telling my son. Well, I used to play World of Warcraft a lot, so I had him playing World of Warcraft for me, like just kind of fucking around with it. I was like, here you go, buddy. Go kill things. Go get yourself killed. Whatever. And now, but there's one game that I've played forever, and he wants to play it. I'm like, oh, this one actually has repercussions if you fuck up, dude. It's EVE Online. Yeah, he'll just. It's a very punishable game. It's not gonna forgive you if you fuck up. And it's very tangible. Like it's got like a realistic perspective to it. It's like people have told me like it's a second job, and I'm like, yeah, it can be. I mean, anything really can be.
Yeah,
Love
absolutely.
yourself. Personally, I don't. I'm just like, no, I'm good. Fucking around here.
So how much time do you dedicate to your interviews? Because like for me, whenever I do an interview, it's a process. Like, I mean, obviously I have to set up, make sure everything's working, do sound checks, do the episode. And then when the episode's done, then I have to, I edit a little bit. I don't edit the conversation, but I'll put some, intro music and outro music, stuff like that. And then upload it and all that stuff. When it's all said and done, it's like 3-4 hours per episode.
That's including the interview?
It's including the interview, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, for me, fuck me, man. It depends on how much ums and stuff like that I get from the other people. So if they do like a lot of pauses or ums, I usually edit those out somewhat, so it kind of helps them like have a connective thought look. So usually for me, if I do an interview, so the interview usually lasts about 45 minutes to an hour. It used to be like 30 minutes. We went up to like 45 minutes to an hour because it's just expanding. So usually about an hour is what I say. And then with editing included, we're looking at about 4 to 8 hours more. So it could take about 9 hours of total. Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And then you upload to Ustream, right? Or do you put it elsewhere?
So I use StreamYard as a way to...
Or StreamYard, that's right.
Yeah, for me to record them. If I want to do live shit, I can do it from YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Yeah.
And I think Facebook too. My friend's trying to help me get on because I don't have Facebook.
You don't have a Facebook?
No, I don't trust Facebook at fucking all. And
Do you trust Instagram? They're owned by Facebook.
I don't trust Instagram. I have a fake name up there, and like they let me use my Mozilla kind of like fake email address. I'm like, yeah, here you go. Fuck yeah. No, I'm not gonna give you my real shit. And if you notice too, is like when I'm on Facebook, like Instagram, yesterday you DM'd me with like phone number, and I was like, all right, cool. And I just texted you back, and I was like, I ain't fucking sending that on Instagram. Fuck you, Instagram. So, no, I'm a bit tinfoil hat, and I don't like them too much. So.
What about it? Do you not like?
They really will.
Be honest with me.
Yeah, they collect your shit and they'll use it for their own products and stuff, which I get because it's free. They just scrape your data, and what I don't like about Facebook is Instagram at least is controlled better, but Facebook's not. So if I ever had to use Facebook, I'd use it in Mozilla so I could use the fencing option, the fencing extension. So because otherwise Facebook will go outside bounds of your tabs and shit like that and start pulling in other tabs of information and trying to get shit off your local and just kind of gather shit. And I'm like, no, this isn't yours. I was like, you're just lucky I'm here.
Do they do that to make your experience better? What do you think the goal for that is?
I think if you're talking to a PR person, yeah, it's for experience better. But realistically, It's because they want to fucking make more money. I mean, if they can make money off of selling your shit, they'll do it. You know? And like testing products, so they'll test AI products on like facial recognition shit. I'm like, no, I'm good. It's all right. I live in the United States, not China. Thank you, CCP. And so like for example, like it kind of influences a lot of stuff. So like for example, like I have an iPhone right now just because I have never had an iPhone, so I was going to try it out. And I hate the experience, and plus it's just ecosystem controlled. And I had Android before, but I've actually debated going actually to like straight Linux, like Pine phones.
Okay.
And like just fucking doing shit on my own, because that's kind of what I do at home. I use Linux because I don't really like the big boys. I think they're just kind of like I don't know. It's like, I paid for your service. Stop where we're at right now. It's like if I buy something from Best Buy, I don't expect you to come home with me. You know, do you mind if we send one of our client agents with you? Yes, I do. Okay, great. We're gonna have him in the back seat. I said no. I don't give a shit. That's why, like, in the bathrooms, like, everyone's like, do you ever read a book in the bathrooms? I'm like, fuck no. I have no idea what they're gonna do with that audio. I'm literally paranoid. Like, people are so like if I play music in the bathroom, like some of my friends are like, well, I'll play it off my cell phone. I'm like, oh, that's cool. What do you do, Nick? Oh man, seriously? I have a little tiny speaker, and I have it so that I broke the mic in it so that no one can record my shit from the mic, and just open it up, pulled it right out. It still works. Great. Good to go. You know, if it didn't work, I just return it and be like, something went wrong. And then I put that in the shower room, and I just use the speaker from there. Cause I'm just like, no, I don't know. I'm just kind of, there's just too many shit. That's just like, there's reason to be paranoid enough. I'm not so tinfoil hat that, like, I don't have a cell phone. There's a couple of people I know that don't have cell phones because they're just like, I fuck no. I'm like,
Really?
Yeah.
No cell phone at all.
Nothing at all.
Not even a flip phone.
No.
Wow.
Yeah, because they're like, no, because the data is leaked always so often, and these companies ask for information that really is not necessary. Like, I need your social security number. And it's like, for what? Like, do you need to verify I'm not an illegal alien? Why? What the fuck's the point?
Is there a way that you can go about that, like, to where you're not like selling your data to anybody?
There are, yeah. It depends on what you're looking at, because it's going to be like, because that's such a broad area to look at.
Yeah.
So like, for example, in MySec, for that organization that I assist, so I'm co-director with Greater Lansing with Brian Martinez. Brian, you're the shit. And but in addition to that too, I also do I'm the director of education outreach. So I do like all over the state, like education on different security things. For pretty much for how I say it's for residential users. So this isn't gonna be like commercial. This is just free shit that I do presentations on. I'm like how to reduce your chance of being social engineered, password hacking. What else is there? There's a bunch of them. ID fraud, shit like that. And so yeah, there's a way to reduce these problems. It's all about how I try to tell people is you're never gonna be, if you want to be tinfoil hat, like no cell phone, like some people I know, totally go ahead. But it's all based on your individual willingness for risk. So if you're willing to risk some areas, go ahead. But it just depends on where your comfort level is. Really, it's like if you're not comfortable, don't do it. You know, it's kind of like if everyone's like, we're going to have an orgy in the back room and there's many butt plugs. Do you want to go? My risk level's kind of reached. I'm good. But then you might get some other people going, what color are they?
How big?
Yeah. Neon and they glow in the dark. You piqued my interest. You know, it's like, it depends on the people, you know? So that's how I look at risk, is it's really an individual basis. Like,
I think a lot of people feel that they don't have a choice though, right?
A lot of people do. And I think that that's bullshit. I think that's honestly, that comes out to being a cop out of this seems hard. I give up. And I hate that personally. Cause it's always like,
try to understand.
Well, it's like, why do you think of yourself so stupid? Like, you're not. You're capable of so many fucking amazing things, and you're going to think yourself unavailable to do this shit. It's like, hold up. I just taught Ethel, who's 98, how to do MFA. Motherfuckers, you can learn this.
What's MFA?
That's multi-factor authentication. So, like, I don't know if you do it on Instagram, but, like, for example, some accounts will say, like, you know, do you want two-factor authentication? Oh, my God, in the IT world, they'll just fucking lose their light. It's 2FA or MFA. It's like, oh, fucking chill the fuck out, dude. No one fucking gives a shit about these fucking terminologies except you. Go to sleep. Like, so it's like how I try to tell people, like, one of a good example is like a cell phone. Like if you get a code or something like that, or if you use an authenticator app, that's another one. YubiKey, those are little physical things that you can put in your computer. Email, sometimes they'll send you a code in email. Things like that. That's going to be your authentication. It's 2FA is just anything more than just one authentication.
Right.
Yeah. Like some places are like, so like how I was trying to tell you about 2FA is not just like passwords. So like, let's say it's biometric. Well, that's one. What's the next one? The next one could be password. That's 2FA. You've done 2FA. Cause it's just more than one. It's just as simple as that. And it's really simple to just add this shit in. Like my wife, she's not IT bound. She doesn't care. She just is like, man, I don't want to do this if I don't have to. But I got her on everything. Like, so for her Discord or for her Facebook or anything, she's just 2FA for everything. Like a while ago, we own our house now, but we had like, I think it was like $12,000 left on it a few years ago. And we were like, well, we can just like, we'll just keep paying it off, paying off. But then when we realized that the bank, Fifth Third, just so you know, your fucking security sucks. They don't have 2FA to get into the bank accounts, which is stupid. You're a bank. For fuck's sakes. That shouldn't even be optional, you idiot.
I love how you look in the camera.
Yeah. Well, they should know this shit. It's like, dude, you dumb. Like every other bank does it. Why the fuck not you? And so we contacted them. We're like, hey, what's the 2FA? And they're like, we don't do it except for like executive clients accounts. I'm
what?
like, fucking idiot. I'm like, because all people have to do is just get in there and then they can siphon out your money. And so we're just like, all right, fuck it. We just threw down the rest of the money. We're just like, we had enough savings. So we were saving up for other things like construction around the house. We're like, no, fuck the construction. That stuff can wait. That toilet still flushes. And so we paid it off so we could just, because that's a risk area for me. I didn't want to have an exposure area. And yeah, so for me, it's like if I don't have 2FA on things, yeah, I feel really insecure and I don't like that.
It makes me feel like you know more about shit that's going to happen than what the normal person might know.
I don't know. I've had people tell me like I'm super smart, and I always tell them like I'm super smart at such small things, but I'm really fucking stupid at a lot of fucking shit. Like it's incredible how dumb I am. And I remember telling a boss one time because they were like, "You're really smart," and I'm like, "I'm so surprised you pay me." Like, fuck. Thank you. What did I do to deserve this? And he was like, because you did some good work. And I was like, I fucking typed up a letter. If you're willing to pay me to do more than that, fuck, I'll get you coffee. Like, do I get a raise?
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, IT's really simple though.
I feel like it can be once you understand it and know the basics. I don't know much about IT, but doing the podcast and learning how to operate different websites and different software, it's become easier for me. But, I know that like if I were to do IT and I worked on it, nonstop, I probably could learn it pretty easily.
Yeah. 2 things real quick. Fuck. First of all, where's that candle? That thing smells like fucking great.
It's an air freshener.
God damn, you smell good, buddy.
Take it home if you want.
Yeah. Vanilla. I like you. Hey, baby. Just so we know, I'm not gonna fuck it. But the other thing in IT, so like you were saying, like some things are competing to like difficult for. It's like I don't know if you apply 2FA. Do you apply it very often?
Well, my bank has it. I don't apply it to everything.
So unless required, do you do it?
Probably not.
Okay, so what would be the roadblock? Why would you not do it? I'm just kind of curious. Cause
never thought about it, honestly.
Okay, that's fine. Now, if you did think about it, would you apply it?
Well, if you if you told me the risks of what could happen if I didn't, then yeah, probably.
Yeah. So here's some risks. So like in the password manager one I do. All right. So like so people are like, oh, I don't want to redo I don't want to like remember all my passwords. I'm like, well, fucking don't. Use a password manager. And the password manager is just think of a bank vault, and you have your own private bank vault, and those have like little safety deposit boxes. Each safety deposit box has a password in it, but this bank vault's really, really secure. And each one of those boxes saves your passwords. And the cool thing about this password manager is actually can individualize your password for every account. Because the problem is if you're reusing account passwords to everything, if a person accesses one thing and finds out what else you're in, they'll just start touching everything else. And now if you don't have 2-factor on, let's say you really do, like you have 100 accounts and you reuse the same password for all 100 accounts, not the best move. But if you have 2FA for each one of those 100 accounts, that individual now has to not just access the first gate, they have to get to the next gate. And if they can't get to the next gate because they don't own your phone, or they don't own however else that next thing is, YubiKey, biometric, whatever. I wouldn't use biometric, by the way. Don't use biometric. Because there's no HIPAA requirement laws for those companies, by the way. Like everyone's like, it's okay because they can have my physical data. Like I have a Fitbit. Look at that, risk event. But I don't let Fitbit know who the fuck I am. I don't let it have GPS. And I don't it's like I want to know more things about you. And I'm like, you ain't fucking gonna know shit about me. We might sleep in the same bed together, but we ain't fucking. and like, so I don't share that kind of stuff with it because it's like too personalized and it's too much. Because the thing is Fitbit, for example, let's say it loses all of its data. It doesn't have to apply any of that PHI information to you at all. It doesn't have to let you know. It's not a HIPAA compliant entity.
Right.
So it doesn't have to do anything to help you out. So that's the thing of the 2FA too, is like, it helps just restrict that ability. Now, there are other risks too. Like, so you've done good on your side, but has the company done good on its side?
Right.
That's why you got to be careful. So that's why, like, for example, like, there's good sites you can go to, like haveibeenpwned.com. He does a great job with that one. He's got a name. I just know he's Australian. He's got a really cool voice. It's pretty sweet. But other than that, I don't fucking know his name. I mean, I've taken a bunch of trainings from him, but I don't know his name. But haveibeenpwned.com, and it's not PO, it's like PW. You can put your stuff in there and put an email address in there, and he'll look at his database because he scours the darknet, and he looks and he gets all that collection of like those accounts have been exposed, and it tells you like, hey, you've been exposed here, or you might be exposed at these places.
Wow.
And it's all free. It's just right. You can do it right on the surface web. Just, put it in the URL, just go there and it'll at least tell you. But if you had like, so for example, like a lot of the companies I use for accounts, I'll use Mozilla because they provide a relay, which allows it so that they just give some fucking random name.
Is that like a search engine?
Mozilla is so Firefox.
Okay.
Little browser guy.
Okay.
And then I use them a lot. And what they do is they'll provide a relay. So it'll be like this really garbled fucking group of letters and names that I'm never going to remember. And it's like at relay.firefox.com. And then if I sign up for an account somewhere, I use that because the only one that actually knows my real email address is Mozilla. But the company doesn't fucking need to know who I am. And then like, they'll say like, what's your name? And I'm like, Guido DePalmo. What's your date of birth?
Is that a real name you've used? Because you just came up with that like that.
Oh yeah. I have a bunch of them. Guido DePalma's the best though. And you see, hello there, I'm Guido. And then there's like, it's like, what's your date of birth? January 1st, 1984. Mm-hmm. That's right. And they'll be like, make an avatar, and I just use like Big Brother's face, like watching you. And it's like, one of my friends was like, do you think the companies ever get frustrated with you? I was like, well, yeah, I've tried to make a Facebook account and it gets shut down every time. Because I never post any pictures of me on there. And I mean, this is going to have my face, but no big deal. But it's more of like, there's a chance that, but the risks aren't high that I would have to worry about like Clearview AI or something like that going fucking through your videos and like fucking scanning me up. Because I'm not that important. And that's the other thing too, is you got to think about importance level, like if you're not really a high figure level person, your risks are really low. How I try to tell people is you don't have to be as crazy as me. Cause like, if you ever go into the industry, I'm at fucking mid-level. It gets worse. And,
that's a pretty big place to be though. Mid-level.
Oh, fucking, I'm dumber than fuck too. It's great. But like, you get further down, it's like, there's more exposure. It's like if you're an actor or like a president of a company, or like, if you're the head of HR or the head of the big ones, like everyone's like head of a company. And I'm like, motherfuckers are going for the CFOs more than the presidents.
Yeah.
Because they still have to get around the CFOs.
Or Jeff Bezos.
They could.
With the nude pictures.
And that's the thing. Like, okay, so now how that happened was there's a no-click thing called Pegasus, essentially, and Citizens Labs out of Toronto talks about this a lot. It's really cool.
It's an Israeli thing, right?
Yep.
Pegasus.
Yep. NGO. Yeah. It's by the company NGO, and essentially what they did was they gave it to Mohammed bin Sal. I'm not gonna say his full name because I don't want to be on that thing. Gotcha. And
that's the prince, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's de facto ruler, but he's the prince. And essentially, they sent him a text, and he never had a reply to it because how Pegasus works is it's a no acknowledgement kind of application. It uses a bunch of like pretty much 0 days, a lot flaws in the system, and they don't report it, and then they use it for their own benefit. Yeah, they're a great company. There's nothing wrong with stalking people, and it's usually it's primarily they use it. It's such bullshit. They say like they use it for like to protect citizens, or they don't even say that. They don't even go in the gray area. They just say it's used by government agencies to do the activities that they need, and we recommend that they don't do things maliciously. It's like, yeah, that worked great. This worked great for all the leaders in history. They've all been great fucking people.
That's hilarious. Well, we're an hour and 10 minutes in.
Fuck me, man. We didn't even get on the bipolar thing. Great job.
No, we didn't get into hardly anything.
I know. That's what you get.
We've kind of been all over the place, and this has been an awesome podcast, honestly. You're super fun to talk to, easy to talk to. I would love to have you back sometime.
Sure. You can talk about my bipolar shit.
You're bipolar?
Yep. Type 1 all the way.
What's the difference? Be real quick. What's the difference? What types are there? There's 1 and 2. Like,
think of it like diabetes. Diabetes has like 3 types in a way. So bipolar does too. There's cylothymia, bipolar type 2, bipolar type 1. Cylothymia is like kind of like the beginning part of diabetes. You're at a risk of getting into diabetes. It's like
it's like pre.
Yeah, pre there. And with cylothymia though, it's not like it can get worse. Usually, it just kind of simmers there. Bipolar type 2 is so people will go hypomanic more. Or a little bit, and then they go really, really down deep. Then there's bipolar type 2. They become really, really manic, and then they can get like depressed and stuff like that. I don't know. Mine's weird. Like I can actually, since I've had it since I was like 10, I can go really high manic, and I can go really, really deep lows into depression, and it's like totally normal, and not a big deal.
How do you manage it?
Meditation, exercise, don't do drugs,
anymore.
Yep. Stop that shit real quick. I don't drink. I don't smoke. Let's see. I meditate a lot. That helps a lot. And exercise. And then,
what does meditation look like for you? Do you use like an app, or do you just kind of lay on like a yoga mat and do breathing exercises? Is it guided?
I can do it any way. I could walk.
Okay.
I can walk, meditate. I could sit here in this chair if I wanted to. Doesn't really bother me at all. Usually I listen to music and chill. It can be kind of all things. It depends. Like meditation could be just breathing and just chilling out, or it can be like, it's a very vivid experience sometimes for me too. Like where like I actually physically go somewhere. I can feel it. I can feel the grass. I can feel the wind. I can feel the, whatever I'm doing in there. I can talk to people and things like that. Just kind of chill out. It's kind of think of like a lucid dreaming.
Okay.
Yep. So that's a very good experience. Usually I go in there and just kind of like, deconstruct problems.
Okay.
Just fix it out.
So when you kind of have a bipolar episode, would you call them episodes?
I don't know what they're called, honestly. I'm not really educated in this area very well. I just know that I've had it since I was 10.
Didn't you go to you went to college for psychology,
yeah,
right?
I did.
You don't understand bipolar?
Well, actually what happened was I went to psychology, and then I realized, because I was like going up and I was actually going to get ready for graduate school, and then I backed out and went to IT instead, because everyone's like, why are you leaving? You're really good at this. And I'm like, I totally understand. But realistically, I shouldn't be more fucked up than the clients. Just saying. So I backed out.
Well, and it's a heavy career.
Yeah.
Who wants to go home every day?
See, I don't mind. Like, so I'm good at I'm good at stress. So it's like, like again, like people don't bother me. But if like someone's like emotionally upset, I'm really good at just completely calming down and like syncing with them and working them through their problems and actually get them to the other side. That's what I was going to do. But no, I just was like, no, I don't want to. I don't want an opportunity to share. Like, oh yeah, depression sucks. I know what that's like. Don't worry about it. It'll get through.
It's not that simple.
Yeah, I know. People are like, oh, it's the worst, and I'm like, oh, dude, I get it. I get it like 12 times a year. It's no big deal. And everyone's like, well, your depression's not gonna be that bad. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so like, they come. So there's like, so how they work is they don't really have. Like they can be, it's weird. Bipolar is weird. It can be triggered or it can just come on its own, whatever, while there's shit like that. And it comes and it goes. And so like manic usually doesn't happen very often. That'll happen about once every like 3 to 5 years kind of thing. Those are episodes where like, you're just like, you're spaced out and you're on LSD and ecstasy and everything is fantastic. Then when you come back down, you're like, oh fuck, what did I do? And, but then hypomanic is just like, you're just having a great time. You're very hyper, very happy, very, your thoughts are going really fast. And then depression, you have like varying degrees of it, kind of like an Eskimo's looking at it like a snowflake kind of. There's just degrees of it. And they come and then they go. And so like, what was it? Like it's April. So I had, I had a depressive episode back in March, but then I had like one in February and then nothing in January and then one in December. It's just.
Now, is it like a lot of it has to do with like weather? It's weather based.
Nope. I can get super depressed in the summer.
Really?
No big deal. Yep. Just all of a sudden.
No big deal.
Yeah. it just kind of comes. I'm like, oh, okay, this is happening. Like I can kind of feel it. I'm just like you'll feel a little shitty, and then all of a sudden it's building, and you're like, okay, you're coming. All right, well, I'm not gonna stop you. And that's the best way to do it. Honestly, it's like, don't obstruct it. It's like, what are you gonna do? Like hold back the water? Good for you. That's how you should use your resources and energy. Waste it. And that's the other thing is like people are like, what do I do? Because like, well, I don't really talk about this one too much, but I don't do prescription medicines. I don't have a problem with them. I think they're great for morning people, but I didn't grow up using them.
Yeah.
So I'm used to not having them. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, don't fuck up what's already working, bud. So that's kind of how I do it.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad that you're able to kind of manage it. You know that what helps, like meditating, working out, going for walks, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm still chubby. It'll happen.
What kind of workouts do you do?
So
Yeah, chubby.
yeah, I'm fat as fuck. But
No,
it's
you're
good.
not.
I'm working on it. Don't work on the self-esteem. I'm using it to help me. You fat fucker. And
Want me to fat shame you then?
yeah, do it.
You fat piece of shit.
God, I need to work out so bad. And so like I'll bike and shit. And I do a lot of biking. I do biking every day. It's about 30, 45 minutes of biking.
Oh,
I
cool.
have a trainer in the house so that I don't have to go outside so people don't have to see the flab. It's great. I protect the public. And I don't want them to be like, oh, what a nice day. Hi, close his eyes. Close his eyes. Don't let him see us. Oh, God, he's so bad. So that what happens is, and then I do like, after that, I'll do like, abs, arm workouts, whatever I find on Pinterest because it's free. I used to go to the gym a lot. I like the gym. I'd be in there for like, I could be there for like 4 to 6 hours. No problem. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't stand the fact that no one else fucking understands how to clean a fucking seat. It's disgusting. I'm like, dude, look, I don't really give a shit if you're not into like germs and shit. That's cool. But that's your ass sweat. That's fucking gross. And that's Lake Titicaca right there. Okay. Just saying. That's fucking nasty. And so I stopped going to the gym because of that. So yeah, so that's all I do. I pretty much, I listen to a lot of IT podcasts or IT reviews or do IT trainings. I just work out like every day.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Works out like shit. But what I'll do? We'll come back. We'll talk about it again.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a lot to talk about.
I'm sure.
Now, real quick, where can everybody find your stuff? They can't find you on social media. We do know that.
Yeah, there's ways to actually finding me on social media because I'm underneath Moony Thinker, and I can provide you if you want the LinkTree. It's a way to kind of connect with different things.
Okay.
For different places to go. LinkTree's the shit.
I love LinkTree.
LinkTree's the shit.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, that's pretty much my way to do it. It's pretty much like Medium and shit like that, and I write a lot of shit on there when I have time, and then. It's just not been very good this month. I've been fucking busy. And yeah, it's been a month. Like shit warms up and everyone's like, let's do a bunch of shit. And I'm like, oh yeah, let's do a bunch of shit now. And so yeah, that's about it.
Cool. All right, man. Well, it's been an honor. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks, man.
All right.